Good morning, neighbors. This song is by Big Daddy Weave, but my mother and I sing this in church. I see the work of your hands, galaxies spinning a heavenly dance. Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming. I hear the sound of your voice. All at once it's a gentle and thundering noise. Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming. I delight myself in you, captivated by your beauty. I'm overwhelmed by you. God, I run into your arms, unashamed because of mercy. I'm overwhelmed by you. I know the power of your cross, forgiven and free, forever you'll be my God, and all that you are is so overwhelming. I delight myself in you, captivated by your beauty. I'm overwhelmed by you. God, I run into your arms, unashamed because of mercy. I'm overwhelmed by you. You are beautiful, oh God, there is no one more beautiful. You are beautiful, God, you are the most beautiful. You are wonderful, oh God, there is no one more wonderful. You are wonderful, God, you are the most wonderful. You are glorious, oh God, there is no one more glorious. You are glorious, God, you are the most glorious. I delight myself in you, captivated by your beauty. I'm overwhelmed by you. God, I run into your arms, unashamed because of mercy. I'm overwhelmed by you. And I pray that's how we live our days, overwhelmed by the greatness of God, his perfection, all the gifts that he's abundantly given us. He just pours out his blessings more and more. And it is a delight to serve the Lord. if you can really look at things and put your trust in Him and not in yourself and how you want things to be, to say, Lord, there's coming a day where all these evil things will pass away. But I want to delight in you while I can, because of how glorious it is it if you can delight in the Lord, as David would say, in the land of the living. I would have fainted if I hadn't seen the goodness of the Lord, of the land of the living here. When the tests and trials are here, that's where he's looking at. He's like, can you trust in me? Because in heaven, everything, the former things will pass away. But here on earth, in the midst of all this chaos, can we make it through and still say, Lord, it is a delight to live my life for you. And as the song says, I'm just overwhelmed by the glorious things, the gift of your love. And this world is a beautiful world, but just man's corrupted it. But in Psalms, we're going to start with chapter 1, verse 1. David writes, Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. So many people want to throw out the law, but David was a man after God's own heart, and he looked at the law and said, I delight. You know, who wants to walk in the counsels of the ungodly and listen to what they have to say and sit in these seats with sinners? But if you can, he's encouraging us, if you can delight in the law of the Lord and just think upon it and how beautiful it is. He said, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. You know, if we delight in God's laws and delight in His instruction and delight in His grace and all these wonderful things, people will notice. You know, if a lot of people know, go to Chick-fil-A. These people, they just seem like they say, it's my pleasure to help you. And really, as a Christian, it's my pleasure to serve the Lord, to obey His commands, and to serve people. You know, if you hate the work that you are in, especially if you're a Christian, if you hate the commandments that God would instruct you with, and that Jesus Christ came and died for us, you know, we want to accept that. But He said, you know, if you love me, you keep my commandments. And if you love the work, it's just a joy. But if going to church is like, oh my gosh, let's just get this over with. It's just something I have to do. And to be kind to your friends and family, and be kind and love your enemies, you know, these things should be a delight to you. But instead it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to do this. You know, really, are you a Christian? You know, and I'm not trying to beat somebody over the head with that, because sometimes it is difficult, but you know, the journey should bring you joy. Lord, I know I can do this, you know, and I want to do it, so help me to do it. You know, I want to, you know, and this is a delight to be able to do this. But if you hate the fellowship with fellow Christians, if you don't want to serve them, if you don't want to sweep a floor or wash, you know, if someone's in need, go over there and help them, then you're not really delighting in the Lord and in His commands and in His law, because it's these things that He wants you to do. And you have to ask, you know, how can I, you know, I was listening to this man, and he was talking about someone else. He said, I went to this place, this coffee shop, and this guy, he was just a joy to be around. The guy, the barista, the one serving, he's just serving coffee. But he said, I love my job. You know, because the management comes here and says, you know, hey, how can I make your job better? You know, how can I make it you know, not easier to like get off the hook, but how can I make it better? You know, that it's just a joy to work here. And he said, and it is. It's a joy to work there when people care for you. So Lord, help us, because we have to look at ourselves, you know, and say, Lord, I want it to be a delight to work in you. And in John chapter 13, in verse 12, so when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. And he tells us, you know, you will be happy if you do these things. Well, I don't want to wash somebody's feet. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to do what I want. But Jesus is saying, if you do, you have to do things, and you will be happy if you do them. But of course, you can do them and still be miserable because it's your attitude, really. But he said, if you really understand my example, this will become a joy to do this, to serve one another and to be there for one another. Though I woke up one morning with this thought in my mind, and so many people, when they turn away from God and turn away from their brothers and sisters, they like to say, I'm finally happy, I'm finally free, I've never been so happy. But the Lord woke me up one morning and said, you know why these people say this? Because it's a lack of responsibility. If you have, the less responsibility you have, the more free you become. Because, if you're not a parent, you don't have any kids to worry about. All the money is your own. And, if you don't have a spouse, well, hey, you have even more freedom. You can eat what you want, do what you want. You don't have to answer to anybody. But God said, that is not what I'm offering. That is not true liberty and true freedom. That is just a lack of responsibility and immaturity. You don't really have this. You're really supposed to want to serve one another. And it should be your delight instead of your, oh my gosh, they're telling me I have to, go help someone who's sick. I have to pray for someone who's sick. I have to study. Oh, this is just so much labor here. But it's because it's not your delight. David, to meditate on the law, it was his delight because the law came from God. And to meditate on the Bible and one another and to fulfill our callings, it should be a delight. It should make you happy to do it for one another. And sometimes it will be difficult because if someone's rude to you, it's like the last thing I want to do is wash this person's feet. But he said, you will actually be happy. You will find peace for your soul if you can do this. That's why, hey, let us take on the responsibility for one another. So God bless you all. Hope you have a good day and you can do a little something for someone.